I'm Megan Fox, and I'm voicing Natara. Whip, whiplash. Whip, whip. Bring it on, come on!
I've noticed that fighting games are selling out lately, namely the big three, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken. All three of these powerhouses in the fighting game community are selling out, all to varying degrees, and it's becoming concerning for me personally, because as fighting games get more popular, we see way more forced tie-ins and collaborations that sometimes make zero sense, or at the very least feel like something that players never asked for. Although to be fair, some would argue this is not a very big deal, but regardless, it's a fun topic worth talking about because every big fighting game is doing it right now, along with Fatal Fury, a game that flopped really hard despite tons of money being dumped into the marketing, so I want to mention that too. Because I don't think any other fighting game has used YouTubers and streamers to promote its game while beating up its own characters in that commercial. Terry Bogard and Rock Howard both get folded in this trailer for the purpose of selling more game copies, which in my opinion is a fantastic example of selling out, but keep in mind I'm going with the Urban Dictionary definition. I'll throw it up on screen. A sellout is anyone who sacrifices artistic integrity in an effort to become more successful or popular. Or it can also be someone who forgets their roots. I'm using this definition, not the extreme one, which is a person who betrays a cause for personal advancement. I don't think any fighting game has gone that far yet. But also, nobody knows what the future holds. It could become very bleak. So alright, let's begin. My first example actually inspired the idea for this video weeks ago, Tekken 8's collaboration with the new Karate Kid movie. Essentially, Tekken 8 became a billboard for this upcoming movie. If you play on certain stages, you see literal advertisements for the upcoming Karate Kid movie. It's on by default, and you can't turn it off, which is super funny, and there's also outfits for your character as well that promote the movie, some t-shirts, and maybe some custom fits for certain characters. However, thankfully, karate is a martial art, right? Karate Kid is all about learning martial arts, and obviously Tekken is all about that too, so at least this collaboration makes sense. You have a fighting movie and a fighting game. It fits pretty well, so not a big issue. However, in my opinion, and according to Urban Dictionary, it is still selling out. But next up, let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1, because if I don't mention a Mortal Kombat game, then people are gonna think I'm going after other games just to make Mortal Kombat look better. No, no, no. Mortal Kombat is very egregious about this. Mainly the NetherRealm games, because that's where all the guest characters began. And make no mistake, every time you see a guest character in a Mortal Kombat game, that is done solely to increase the copies sold. Because even though returning characters sell better, a guest character is more likely to sell an entire copy of that game. So in other words, a Mortal Kombat fan is more likely to buy DLC of Reptile or Ermac, right? But someone who's never played Mortal Kombat is more likely to buy the game when they see Terminator or Ghostface or any other of the 17 plus guest characters that have been in the recent Mortal Kombat games. And no, I'm not exaggerating. There's been like 17 guest characters. And as mentioned earlier, the main reason NetherRealm and WB include these guest characters is to become more popular and increase sales, so that fits the definition of selling out. However, with that said, as long as the guest characters are fun to play and not too overpowered, I think it's okay. For the most part, if NetherRealm ever drops in a really weird guest character that clashes completely with the tone of Mortal Kombat, that's when I'm gonna take issue with it. And obviously, I also hate when a guest character is top tier because it feels a bit insidious and on purpose. Let me explain why. If the guest character is top tier, then pro players are more likely to use them on stream at major tournaments, which means way more people see this guest character and how good they are and think, I want to buy that character. Or they might even think, wow, I want to buy Mortal Kombat 1 now. Homelander looks really fun to play and must be good because all the pro players are using him. That exact situation definitely happens all the time when guest characters are made top tier, so I'm starting to think that NetherRealm's doing it on purpose. And listen, it's their game, their characters, they can do whatever they want, but I'm just saying it's kinda shady if you think about it. Real quick, before going any further, my comic only has 4 more days, so you want to act now and purchase your copy with the link below in the pinned comment and video description. It's the best purchase you could ever make because every physical copy comes with a free poster and a digital copy of the comic as well. That's right, you get all of that for $10. It's an amazing deal. Don't worry about the goal, we don't need to reach that. If you order a comic, you get a comic book. I just wanted to dream big. This Indiegogo campaign has variant covers that will never be available available again, like this swimsuit cover. Looks really amazing, right? Ace is looking pretty hot. And then cover B has her superhero persona. Yeah, I love this design. Our artist did a fantastic job. This comic book really is amazing, and if you want all 3 covers, you can order the triple pack, which gives you a bonus poster for free, an exclusive poster, by the way, that will never be available anywhere else. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. This Indiegogo in general is so awesome. Order yourself a comic book today, you're gonna love it. But don't forget, there's only 4 days left to order, so act now and buy your comic today. You're gonna love it. Alright, back to the video. Time to talk about Street Fighter 6, because they sold out recently as well with a K-pop collaboration. Or at least I think it's K-pop. Could be J-pop, I'm not entirely sure. But regardless, it's selling out because all of this is a stunt to get more people playing Street Fighter 6 or make some extra money by people who want to buy the costume. I think this collaboration between Street Fighter 6 and the K-pop music industry would be considered selling out to an extent. However, like every other example mentioned so far in this video, it's not too big of a deal because the costume looks neat, I'm not gonna lie, and it fits Juri because she's South Korean. Yeah, for anyone watching who's not aware, that's what made Juri so popular when she debuted. She was the first Street Fighter character from South Korea. It was awesome. So in other words, having a Korean character dress in Korean attire based on Korean music makes a lot of sense. I could see Juri wearing this, so not too bad of a collaboration, but still selling out. Oh boy, but next up, let's talk about Fatal Fury, the newest one, City of the Wolves, because this example is pretty egregious in my opinion. And anyone who's seen this commercial knows what I'm talking about. And to anyone else who's never seen it, I apologize, but you've gotta witness this. In order to get more sales on this game, famous streamers like Speed and KSI were used to promote Fatal Fury's City of the Wolves, and I can't imagine how expensive that actually was, because both these dudes on screen are millionaires, so I can't imagine what it cost to get them on set and actually record footage for this commercial. It must have been really expensive, because every hour these guys aren't streaming, they make so much money, and the Fatal Fury owner had to compensate them for that time. So yeah, it was very expensive to get these people on screen to promote the game. That is selling out to the next degree, especially considering how much Fatal Fury flopped. But then on top of that, as hinted earlier at the start of this video, fan favorite characters get their butt kicked in this commercial just to help promote the boxing event or something like that. Yeah, there's multiple selling out happening in this video. It's like a double collaboration. You have a boxing event getting promoted, and also you have KSI and Speed promoting the game too. And of course, all of this is done to get more people buying the game, to get more people aware of the game as well. Fatal Fury is kind of a niche series, so it makes sense the owners want to spread it as much as possible, and this commercial was their way of doing that, but I don't think it broke even at all. So that's a massive fail, but the main reason I'm talking about this example is because they're beating up their own fan favorite characters to promote the game. That is the worst example of selling out that I can think of in recent fighting game history. Remember how Ronda Rousey was used as Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 11? That's another great example of selling out, by the way. All the celebrities being put in Mortal Kombat, that is solely to sell more copies and definitely selling out. And I definitely want to talk about that in more detail later, but right now let's focus on Ronda Rousey. Imagine if instead of being Sonya Blade, she was her own separate character in the game beating up Katana and Jade. And the whole time they're making goofy faces like this. I want you to imagine that, because that's what Fatal Fury fans were experiencing in this commercial. They were forced to watch their favorite characters get their butts kicked, all to promote the game. It had to be hard to watch. Alright, but now it's time to roast Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1 for forcing celebrities into the game. Mortal Kombat 11 was the first to do this with Sonya Blade and also that DJ whose name I forget at the moment. Almost nobody was happy about this collab, but at least with Sub-Zero it was optional. For Sonya Blade, we had to deal with Ronda Rousey's voice acting because every character in Mortal Kombat has unique intros based on who they're fighting. There's dozens of lines from each character. Not to mention story mode, where Ronda Rousey was also voicing Sonya Blade and ruining the performance the entire time. However, she did much better than Megan Fox, who can't voice act to save her life, and I think single-handedly destroyed Natara. Nobody cares about this character anymore, which is crazy because before that, everyone loved Natara, or at least long-time Mortal Kombat fans did. She was one of the most requested characters to return ever since Mortal Kombat 9. But now after Megan Fox, I don't hear anybody wanting Natara to come back because she's forever fused with Megan Fox. People can't think of Natara without thinking about Megan Fox and that terrible collab, which is horribly ironic because these collaborations were done to promote the game, to get more sales, and it kinda did the opposite because everyone hates these collaborations and wants them to never happen again. But now finally, to end today's video, I want to reference the worst example of selling out that I can think of in recent fighting game memory. Yep, yep, it's even worse than the Fatal Fury commercial, because at least that only happened one time. But when Street Fighter V partnered with Red Bull, every single match had an advertisement before it started. And I do mean every single match, even private lobbies with your buddy. Before every single match, you saw a Red Bull advertisement. I wish I was joking. It happened every single match, and oh my god, was it tiresome. But then on top of that, there were hideous tracksuits you could put on your character that had the Red Bull colors and logo, which of course was also meant to promote Red Bull. I've got no idea how much they paid Capcom for this, because every single match you had to see this, and sometimes the opponent was wearing the drip as well, which meant you got blasted in both directions, right? Double barrel to the face from dual sponsorship sellout nonsense. To this day, I think Street Fighter V might be the worst example of selling out in fighting game history, because it was every single match. However, I'm trying to say something nice about every one of these collaborations, so at least for Street Fighter, it was cool how the Street Fighter characters wore the outfit in different ways, right? For example, our Mika had it slightly unzipped, and I think Sagat had it completely open, so the characters sometimes wore the outfit differently to fit their personality, and that was a nice touch. But of course, it can't undo having to watch that 5-second ad before every single match. It was so annoying. Alright everyone, there you have it. Every example I can think of in recent history where video games were selling out. Oh, Dead or Alive also did tons of costumes to promote stuff that was selling out too. But also, Dead or Alive is dead, because Dead or Alive 6 bombed super hard, and the next game will bomb too, which sucks because I love that series. But yeah, the video's pretty much over. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed, and also prevent future fighting games from selling out any harder. Right now it's kind of innocent, and the collaborations make sense in most cases, because even Red Bull does support the esports scene a lot, and video games in general. They're a big sponsor, so collaborating with Street Fighter kinda made sense. But it needs to stop right here and not grow any further, so leave a like down below so that never happens. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.